Hi once again, this is CUTV's Thomas O'Connor. I'm coming to you tonight from Ghetto Shul, a small student synagogue just off Sherbrooke Street. Tonight we're going to be looking at some jazz set to traditional Hebrew poetry. This place also hosts concerts all through the year and a little bit of stand-up comedy as well. Should be a pretty fun evening.
וכוכבים כאור שמשנו על פני רקיע אבן ספיר שם.
Hi, my name is Leibus Hundert. I am a rabbi, and the place got started about 10 years ago, but we only just moved to this particular space 2 years ago. We're very excited with this space. Let me just explain. Ghetto Shul is a name. Shul means like synagogue, kind of in a colloquial sense of a hangout spiritual spot. Mm-hmm. And basically speaking, since we got this place, we've opened up a little cafe. We've started up music performances of various types. Basically, kind of the vision is to unite spirituality and culture.
Hi, I'm Greg Wall, and I was performing here tonight at the Ghetto Shul with the later prophets, celebrating the mystical poetry of Rav Kook with our good friend Rabbi Yitzhak Marmorstein.
So tell us a little about your background and what led you here.
Well, my background is a traditional music background. I'm conservatory educated and moved to New York in the early 80s to seek my fortune as a jazz musician, and found traditional Judaism after a little while, and I've spent the past 15 or 20 years trying to merge both my interests in serious music and serious Judaism, and this project, Later Prophets, has been the great outlet to do that. I'm able to explore a lot of things that interest me and express them musically.
Human being, observe the light of the divine presence that pervades all existence. Observe the harmony of the heavenly realm, how it pervades every aspect of life, the spiritual and the material which are before our eyes of flesh and our eyes of spirit. Contemplate the wonders of creation, the divine dimension of their being, not as a dim configuration from afar, but as the reality in which you live. Know yourself and your world. Know the meditations of your heart and of every thinker. Find the source of your own being and of life beyond you, around you, the glorious splendor of the life in which you have your being. The love that is astir in you, raise it to its basic potency and its noblest beauty. Extend it to all the dimensions, all its dimensions towards every manifestation of the soul that sustains the universe. Look at the lights in their inwardness. Let not the names, the words, the idioms, and the letters confine your soul. They are under your control. You are not under theirs. Ascend toward the heights. Ascend, aleh, lemala, aleh. Because you are of mighty prowess. You have wings to soar with, wings of mighty eagles. Do not fail them, or else they will fail you. Seek for them, and they're immediately ready for you. We are summoned to share in this heavenly delight in all the particularized perceptions which are included in this universal whole from which all life has emerged and continues to unfold. Me'olam rachok. My name is Rabbi Yitzhak Marmorstein, and in the early 1980s, I started reading this book, the writings of Rabbi Avram Yitzhak, a Kohen Cook, and I was so impressed and touched by the illumination and the understanding that this sage had, that I've continued to study and read his teachings. And as I discovered his poetry and searched for the music of his poetry, I found it quite illuminating, and it's been a great pleasure to share it.
Well, it was an amazing evening. There were some unbelievable performances going on, and I know one thing. I learned a thing or two about jazz. I'm Thomas O'Connor for CUTV Arts and Culture.
Hi, this is Adobe reporting for CUTV Arts and Culture. It's Friday, May 6th, and I'm here outside of Cafe Chica for the public launch of the multimedia community art project, Imagining NDG. Let's go inside and check out the local artists and musicians celebrating art and history.
I want to welcome you very much to the Imagining NDG launch. What this event is really the culmination of, not the culmination, but it's the result of 4 years' work and thinking about the history of NDG as the urban village and sort of a distinct little community within Montreal, and trying to see if we could find some way to creatively look at the passage of time and urban change in Montreal. So it's very much a collaborative project. I'm an NDG resident, and it came out of my interest really in the neighborhood and the sort of the self-contained nature of the neighborhood. And so I wanted to, in some way, try to, not in a sociological way, but in some sort of creative, interpretive way, look at this period of change in the neighborhood. The website is divided into 3 sections. When, then, which is the historical archival part. The second part, NDG Now, is the part in which we interviewed a lot of people, mostly people who've been active in the neighborhood or who've written about the neighborhood. So those slideshows contain all of that stuff. And the thing about that was that as we interviewed people and talked to people, certain themes emerged. And that's why you have in the slideshows a whole series of themes, you know, like Benny Farm and the hospital and youth. I mean, a lot of people are concerned about youth engagement in Montreal in NDG, and so that part of the project sort of emerged really from the residents' own comments and their own discussion and so forth.
I was hired by Tim mid-project to, conceive all the materials that were compilated, like archival materials, photographs, and so on. And so, we ended up having so much materials that we're like, what do you do with this? Like, how do we, bring it back to the community and then generate a platform and a kind of a discussion about the contingencies of the project?
So I think it's good that people keep up local history and so on, and when you get to be my age, you remember a certain amount of local history that you can either impress or bore the young'uns with already, let alone the stuff that other people remember from before that.
As filmmakers, what can we bring into this that would be add a different element to it that would be a lot more interactive but also really visually pleasing? So some of the films you're going to see tonight that are also available on the website cover quite a range of things that you are about NDG. So you have, so there's the Wheel Club, the Empress Theater. There's a music video that was done for a song about the Empress called Empress Blue. There will be one on Youth and NDG that's coming up soon.
So it's the old meeting the new, meeting the future.
Exactly, the old meeting the new, meeting the future, and it's a lot of fun in terms of how it's fun overall. I like history, I really enjoy it, and I enjoy sort of discovering things visually and historically, and that's what I really like about the website. That's what attracted me about the project, and that I grew up on NDG when I was a kid, and you sort of recognize places, and you see the changes that have evolved over the past 25 years and even longer, So that's what I really enjoyed about the website itself.
Tell me about your song Empress Blue that you wrote.
I was approached by Emmanuel Hessler and Paul Flau. They were working with Tim Schwab, and they wanted a local musician to write something about this massive building out here. And I had gone to the building in the 80s when it was Cinema 5 as a repertory theater. So I was delighted by the opportunity. to write such a song. So I did some research. I went into the sort of online archives, as it were, and found out some very interesting things about the Empress when it was built by a guy named Alcide Chaussee in 1927.
And then in 1992, it burned down because of a negligent smoker. I guess it's important that people don't smoke indoors anymore because people used to smoke, and somebody dropped their cigarette, and overnight it burned down, and it's been just kind of left to fall apart since then. And so I guess your imagination can kind of run wild with what happens when a building burns down, and 15 years later you go inside to check out what happens. The movie actually only shows a fraction of how wonderful that building actually is. And there's stairwells that lead to nowhere, and debris, and these old paintings on the wall, and you can still what's amazing is I guess back in the 80s they kind of covered up a lot of the historical stuff, and because of the fire it's been kind of been brought back to light. So you can kind of see some of the old moldings, some of the old ceilings, some really interesting stuff.
My thought about this launch and so forth is that this is really the beginning, not the end. It's not the culmination of 4 years' work. We did a lot of work of doing oral histories and doing short films and doing photography about the neighborhood and trying to really get people to think about and look at the neighborhood. But that's just the beginning. My hope is that people will then, from this, begin to build on it and contribute work to it. Contribute, creative writing or comments or songs or whatever they want to do, and that we will bring that stuff into it. And it's really, that's where the kind of the title of the thing comes from, is the idea of trying to imagine what we would like the neighborhood to be like in 5 years or 10 years. I hope that people will build on the website, that it'll become a hub and a foundation that they can kind of extend and contribute to.
So this was Imagining NDG at Cafe Chica. This is Deanna Adobe reporting for Arts and Culture on CUTV.
Hi, I'm Sonia. This is Morris.
Hi, guys.
From Saint-Tropez Dance Studio, and we're at Festivalissimo. It's the 16th year, and it's an event that brings together dance and music and film, especially Latin American. And today we were doing a bit of tango.
She invited a few dance schools to perform and to teach the audience how to participate, and with a few basic steps, a few ochos, a few walks. Sandwich is what the step we taught today. Basically, is following the rhythm of the tango, of the bandoneon. Slow. That's the start for everyone. And it's a basic step that everyone can do around the dance floor.
And it's easy to learn, even if you've never taken classes before. You could just learn the basic step in a few minutes and really enjoy the music.
There's a lot of great instructors here in Montreal, and which we're very fortunate to have. And during the event today, there's going to be a lot of performances and workshops. Tomorrow, there's going to be even more performances and workshops, salsa dancing from all the dance studios in Montreal.
Yeah, so we'll be there tomorrow during the day to give more workshops and more shows. And then we're actually presenting a 1-hour show at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, Saturday night. And it's going to be a mix of amateur and pro dancers. And we're doing a mix of different styles of salsa, not just regular salsa, but also Cuban style, which is more of the origins, as well as the New York style. So definitely come down and check out Festivalissimo while it's on.
Alors, j'aimerais bien savoir si vous êtes intéressé, est-ce que ça vous dérange pas, de vous lever juste un petit peu et essayer un pas de base de tango. Est-ce que ça vous va? Un poquito? Vamos a hacer un pequeño paso de tango. Si vous voulez, vous pouvez l'essayer sur la piste, sur la scène, ou ici même. Alors, gênez-vous pas, allez-y tout le monde. Come on, guys, don't be shy.
Todos, le pas de base. Pas de base. Pas du tout. Le nouveau pas maintenant, on y va. Et 1, 2 et 3, et 4, et 5. On ferme les pieds, et la fille passe en avant, et revient, puis ensemble. 1, 2 et 3. Pas de base, basic. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Le nouveau pas, on y va. 1, 2 y 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Et boum, bam, boum, bam, bam. All right, one more time.
Hello, I'm Gabriel Pfizer with CUTV. We're here at Oscar Peterson Performance Center on Concordia's Loyola campus for an evening with the Nomadic Orchestra of the World, which is a celebration of Indian gypsy music, culture, and dance.
I grew up looking at a lot of Bollywood stuff, so like a lot of commercial Indian things, and a lot of what I'm seeing tonight is like the roots and really the origin of where a lot of Bollywood comes from.
The music of the gypsies of India is a world, a universe in itself. Their roots are in India, in northwest India and Rajasthan. They migrate westwards through Turkey, through Eastern Europe, and they settled everywhere and they brought their music with them.
We have brought in Montreal Nomadic Orchestra of the World. It's a global musical project which aims to link 500 nomadic musicians from 20 countries by 2015. And the idea is to create a musical voice for all the nomadic communities and gypsies across the world and giving them a cultural recall.
Uttar Pradesh, north of India, and where I used to have them coming towards my house, to my place, singing for us and everything. It was just amazing and just bringing the memories back. And I'm for me to be here, I feel like being home.
This is Gabriel Pfizer with CUTV signing off from Oscar Peterson Performance Hall.
Hi, this is Alejandro Hernandez for CUTV Arts and Culture. We're on San Juan Boulevard at the Elastica. We're a play entitled I'm Still Here. It chronicles the lives of 5 immigrant women. This is all organized by the Fringe Festival. And here are a few excerpts that we've captured for you.
These people? Hiding these people? Oh, I am these people. Are you these people? Are all of them these people? I am not invisible, for God's sake. I am still here. Now. Can you see me? Can you see me now?
You play someone of a different name, so remind us the character name.
Well, the main character is Anna, and she's a waitress and an immigrant here in Canada. Basically, she's coming from South America. We didn't want to mention specifically which country. Between the 80s and the 90s in South America, there were many dictatorial governments, so a lot of revolutionary groups. So we tried to mix, but we didn't want to mention a specific point in the history.
Right. And from, I guess, seeing your play, it seems that this character, Anna, is really an alter ego. And she represents maybe a segment or a part of your life. And we see the trouble that she goes through. And could you tell us maybe what inspired you to come out with such a story? Because we could all guess that it must have been a big step for you.
Well, basically because in my country I lived when I was very young, the terrorism years, and they were pretty awful. And the saddest part is that neither the government, neither the terrorists really took care of the people. I'm talking about regular people and poor people. They say the government didn't care about poverty and the terrorists neither. So really we were well, I was maybe lucky but some other people were really not lucky, and they suffer a lot, and they die, or they lose somebody at home. But besides that, when I started to write this play, it was for a project at Concordia Theater Department. It was the CIPA. It's a student assignment festival for the theater department. And I started to interview some people, some female students at the Fine Arts faculty. All of them are Concordians. All of them come from different places. All of them, with the exception of one, they have a Hispanic background. The other girl is Russian. But for different reasons, they were forced to immigrate, them or their families. And all of us, including myself, we found ourselves working for the restaurant industry.
So that was an inspiring play entitled I'm Still Here by Margarita Romero. For CUTV Arts and Culture, I'm Alejandro Hernandez.
What I know is that sometimes it's also difficult for me to remember who I was once. No more piano. However, on the other side, I think I am still here. And that is what really matters. Oui, madame? Yes, madam? Oh, yes.
This is P.R.I.M.s 30th birthday. So P.R.I.M. is a Production et Réalisation Indépendante de Montréal. So it doesn't really translate. It's awkward in French and in English. We call it P.R.I.M. And it's one of the oldest artist-run centers in Montreal. It's 30 years we've been running, especially in the film and video world. What we're about here at P.R.I.M. is giving emerging artists, and especially mid-career and senior artists, access to tools that will allow them to reach larger audiences, larger festival audiences and broadcast audiences by making sure that they have professional-grade tools, so tools that meet the highest production standards.
What is our main goal for us is to really to help more and more and more. So we invent new program to help artists. Like let's say we could take a video artist and say you're gonna have access to the audio studio audio, and you're gonna make experimental work in audio instead of working in this field. So we provoke sometimes some artists to go in another field to develop his practice in another way. We have also, for example, we have what we call documentaire à risque. So translating like risky documentary, which means people can they put their project on the table, and it's the kind of subject that could not find any kind of subsidies or grants to do it.
We are a publicly funded organization. We receive public money. We're very conscious of that and very aware of the need for good governance of the public money. But we try to manage it wisely and use our resources as best we can to make sure that that money is spent. As much of it as possible goes to actually supporting the artists whose work we're here to serve.
We have artists in residence, which means that the artists have complete access to the studios, etc., without no cost. The only thing that we ask him is to finish his project in 1 year. So the guy or the girl can take, try to find some funding, but we don't take any kind of payment for all the equipment that person will have. And also that person will have technical support from the team.
piece is entitled Chronographies of a Landscape, and the idea is it starts from an idea on how we can feel the time of a huge landscape. For instance, with image when you travel. When you travel, your eye records images, samples of images. And but when you finish your travel, when it's a very long travel, all you get are kind of very short memories, very short samples of things. And the idea came to me that with sound, maybe you could convey other things than a sample of, let's say, a bush of trees, a couple of fields, some buildings in a city, some very fragmented images like this. But instead, be able to have a continuity and be able to describe the sound. The sound actually not to describe the sound, but to describe the appearance of the geology, or let's say the physical geography of the place you are in.
It's always a challenge working in the arts. It's always a challenge meeting the technological level, trying to meet the technological evolution, but it's still a challenge to making sure that we're making the right decisions in investing in infrastructure so that when we're looking both today and to the future, that we're actually serving people's needs and maintaining the professional grade production facilities that are our hallmark.
It's great. It's great. I love it. It's great because, well, there's one main thing is these days for a center like this, like P.R.I.M., to be able to celebrate a 30th birthday. It's kind of rare. It's kind of amazing and rare. Because there's a general tendency to cut this kind of productions. It's actually there's less and less official support for this type of productions.
Hi, I'm Deanna Adobe reporting for CUTV Arts and Culture. It's Tuesday, July 5th, and I'm standing outside of the newly renovated Rialto Theatre here on Park Avenue for the public launch of Beyond the Mountain Productions. This is a Montreal-based international non-profit theatre company which is comprised of some of this city's brightest young theatre artists whose aim is to not only highlight emerging artists' work and raise Montreal's cultural profile, but to create a foothold in the international art scene. And while there's no shortage of talented theatre artists here in Montreal, certainly starting up a theatre company takes more than talent to run. So let's step inside and meet the artists and celebrate with live music, comedy, and dance. Can you give us an example of a few of the general responsibilities of the general manager of a theatre company?
One of them, I think the one that I've been concentrating the most on right now has been work permits and visas, which obviously when you take a show abroad, and as our mandate says, that's what we're going to do, you have to get work permits, and sort of the past, I guess, 6 months, it's been mostly about acquainting myself with that system, with the legal system and the terminology of it. When you apply for a visa, who's the petitioner, who's the beneficiary, what does this all mean? And so yeah, doing mostly research about that, and of course then using that research to bring shows outside of the country.
Should have seen me smile when I heard them air brakes come on. So I climbed up in that cab. At the wheel sat a big man. I have to say he must have weighed about 210 as he stuck out a big hand and he said with a grin, "The name's Big Joe."
Out of the blue, I got this call from Sarah Rodriguez, who
who I don't know that well, but for some reason just liked right off the spot when I first met her. And we had talked quite a bit about my show. And she just emailed me out of the blue and asked me if I would like to go to the Minnesota Fringe Festival. Because the company, Beyond the Mountain, with Danielle and Sarah, had another show in place that it turned out couldn't go because of problems with the venue not fitting with the show. And luckily, I can do my show pretty much anywhere. So I signed on. And now we're having this fundraiser.
The reason we founded this company is because we really wanted to share the absolutely amazing talent that exists in this city, in Montreal, with the world.
So tell me a bit of the process that got you thus far.
Well, originally it was just sort of an idea in my head, and then it was, I really felt I don't want to do this alone. I've seen other theater companies that there's just an artistic director, and I really wanted to have other people's input and to be creative and flow, and so basically I decided I wanted to find people out there that felt like me.
You're a traveler and you don't seem to have a problem resting your head any place. Do you have any ideas of dreaming up some or tweaking some scenes in Paradise Lost?
Well, I think this will probably be about the 5th or 6th time I've remounted this show, and every time we do it, it does get tweaked a little bit. You kind of figure out what works and what doesn't as you go along, and I'm sure there will be some elements that'll be improved upon. But the structure of the play is very, very solid. I mean, it's been around for over 300 years. You know, you can't mess with genius too much, you know.
Thank you. And thank you very much to Danielle and Sarah for having faith in my show and helping me get it to more places. And thank you, all of you, for doing that too. Cheers.
Such a fun-filled and talent-packed evening here at the Rialto Theatre, all celebrating the launch of Montreal's new not-for-profit international theatre company, Beyond the Mountain Productions. For CUTV Arts and Culture, I'm Deanna Doby.
And they calling on the one above. The one above. Let's go. Everybody get your people. Revolution start to mirror. Everybody get your people together for the better. Come on. Can't you see face with the people? So when you all wake up today. Wake up. Calling in our systems. So we gon' stand up.
Welcome to Montreal's second annual Muslim Fest. Hopefully we'll have a third and a fourth annual. We are Toronto's sister event that was started last year with the help of Moaz Batik. We have international vendors and artists coming from France, the United States, and that's about it actually. We have an art exhibition that celebrates all of the different art of local and international artists throughout the Muslim community that's very popular recently. We aim to clarify the misconceptions that are in the media right now about Muslims, and we aim to help Muslim youth to create an identity for themselves as Canadians, as well as being Muslims through the arts.
Bonjour, moi je me présente, c'est Abdeljalil Moka, artiste peintre. Donc j'ai repris la peinture il y a peu de temps. J'avais fait un petit arrêt il y a 2 ans de ça. Et depuis que je suis à Montréal, j'ai rencontré un frère qui m'a remotivé à reprendre la peinture. Donc c'est ce qu'on fait au Muslim Fest. Donc là c'est ma première participation. Moi je tiens un petit stand où je fais des petits dessins pour les gens, ils me disent leur nom. Et moi je leur fais en tag ou en graphe leur nom. Donc c'est une activité qui est gratuite, que je mets à la disposition des gens. Ça fait depuis 1998 que je fais du graffiti. Donc comme je vous dis, j'ai arrêté, là j'ai repris juste pour l'événement et je pense que je vais continuer à peut-être faire des tableaux et peut-être des t-shirts, on verra. Et je me tiendrai aussi au Muslim Fest qui se passera à Toronto, à Mississauga pardon, ça sera la semaine prochaine. Sinon à part ça, c'est vrai que aussi je voulais faire une autre activité, c'était basketball freestyle, vous savez comme dans les pubs Nike, c'est ce que je voulais faire, sauf que je me suis pris un peu tard Donc ça sera peut-être pour l'année prochaine, ce sera du basket freestyle, comme on a pu le voir dans des shows N1 ou des shows Nike qu'on a pu voir aussi dans les pubs à la télé. Donc peut-être que je mettrai ça en place l'année prochaine parce que c'est mes deux passions, le graffiti et la danse et aussi un peu de slam. Mais bon, je vois qu'il y a du niveau slam ici, donc je crois que je vais me contenir juste dans le graffiti et dans le basketball freestyle. Voilà.
All right, so my name is Stephen Brown. I'm a student of mechanical engineering at Concordia University right here. I was on student council last year, and I actually became very involved in the Muslim community through the MSA at Concordia. It gave me the opportunity to really do some really great things, learn a lot about myself, and actually get more involved in the community as a whole, not just the Muslim community of Montreal, but also the wider community, especially university community. And I managed to learn a lot. Because of that and all the people I've met, I was actually asked kind of last minute to do be the Master of Ceremonies at Muslim Fest, which I think is a really good thing. I think more than anything, it helps Muslims kind of get out of their shell. Oftentimes there's this tendency to retrench in on yourself and kind of hide away from society because there's a lot of I guess what you would call controversy surrounding the Muslim community in North America right now. But it's through events like this where we invent the wider community and we're able to do these things, show that we're also interested in arts, show that we have a talent, and just have a great family, fun-filled day. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And anything I think that's beneficial for the community, whether it's the Muslim community, but especially the greater community of Concordia or Canada as a whole, I'm down to help. So check us out.
They say the Lord will come like a thief in the night. Perhaps the Lord will come in the things that I write, in the things that we bleed, in the things that we read, in the things we recite. Maybe they're afraid I'll spit fire in these kerosene streets will ignite, or that I'll spit water in these barren streets to give life. And I've learned the thing that pulls the fiend to the pipe is the same thing that pulls the human being to the light. The love of love, a means to cope. So I try to inhale their dreams and exhale hope. Homeboy said, but the people either feel it or don't. So you can inhale their dreams and exhale hope, but you better chew poppy seeds and spit out dope. And that reminded me of a passage, and I quote, Allah will not change the condition of a people, it changes the condition is what's within themselves. End quote. Inshallah, I won't falter. Steady rocket Gibraltar, swift traversing waters. Verses I've authored, I offer as a solemn sacrifice upon the altar in order to alter the current conditions of our sons and our fathers. And they say we need more black mayors and black lawyers. I say we need more black John Mayers to win Grammys for singing songs about our daughters because we are caught in a culture of defeatism, worshiping victims and martyrs. We are not victims, but victors of we but witness our honor, our brilliance, our resilience, and our beauty is farther than Pippin, Hoes, Chicken Dough, Gucci, and Prada. From Science Street to Simpson Road, we are shook in the drama of terrorism that precedes Al-Qaeda and Osama. Forget Bin Laden, Ben Franklin enslaved my great-great-grandmama, comma, great-great-grandfather, comma, indigenous nations on reservations, comma, we call in a coma, sleep. So the truth will have to come like a thief in the night. But if you're awake, you'll hear it in the things that we write, in the things that we bleed, in the things we recite. And because the truth will come like a thief in the night, being awake, I've learned, is the meaning of life.
Hi, I'm Deanna Dobry reporting for CUTV. We're outside of Bistro Jojo for Carolyns Phase CD launch Original Sin, with sexy lyrics, original raunchy material, and energy that only Carolyn Faye and her blues collective can deliver. Let's go inside and get a real summer treat. cafe. As a multi-talented artist, the brush you paint with is a versatile one. Stage performer as well as film, television, director, producer, choreographer, community theater artist, songwriter, singer, a Montreal blues singer. Many hats and all worn successfully. And I'd like to know, would you also consider yourself a businesswoman?
I'm a businesswoman first and foremost. Before all that other stuff you said, I am a businesswoman, yeah, definitely.
I'd like to hear some of the steps that you take in order to have the businesswoman first and foremost then appear.
Okay, well, for any show I do, whether it be theater, music, film and TV, it's basically out of my control. But when I have a say into it, there's a lot to be done before you even see me on stage. It's like a sales job. There's finances to think about, promotion, marketing, human resources, the band members, the actors, what have you. All that has to be put in place. There has to be a plan. That plan has to be executed. And then we go make the sales calls. The sales calls are like calling venues, if it's for a gig, for a music gig, or negotiating with theater venues if it's going to be a theater production. There's a lot to be done even before the audience can even have a hint that there might be a show coming up.
Understanding is that the songs are primarily original works. So could you take us through how you get your material and the lyrics together? Some of the process that you go through.
Okay, some of the process. Well, it starts off with me having some kind of an emotional outbreak, or happy, sad, angry, whatever. Lines come to my brain and I jot them down. It starts that way. Then I call my partner. The drummer is the co-founder of this band, Dan Legault. I call Dan. Dan, I have these lyrics. I want this kind of a vibe. I want a hot summer night. You're trudging through the dust kind of vibe. So he whips up some kind of a musical riff. I take my words, tweak it, and put it onto his riff, and before you know it, there's a song.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's fun, but there are times it doesn't fit. A lot of times it doesn't fit. For us to get 12 songs down on this album, we've gone through 33 different riffs. 33. Out of the 33, we chose 12. So the balance that's left is in the vault. It's in development. Think it'll change again for the next CD to come, or maybe not. Maybe we'll take another venue, another way of doing it.
Tell me about your choice for the cover. I absolutely love the color choices. And tell me about this.
Okay, so it's blues. It's basically blues because the music is blues. Now, someone once told me the blues is not necessarily about sadness. I lost my man. It's not necessarily that. It's also about the bump and the grind, the nasties. Also the angries. So with the original sin, Bible, once upon a time, Adam and Eve, when when Eve offered the apple and Adam bit into it, it was the original sin. It was Eve giving Adam the knowledge. So, the knowledge that sometimes it's not about the sad part of life, also about knowing about things, the evil part of life, but the angry part. So I'm chomping into a blue apple, but it's a meat apple. If you take a closer look at it, it's actually meat inside the apple and it's bleeding. And hopefully, because I'm pretty pale, the meat will give me back my life, my color.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
So you're feeding off of the fruit of knowledge.
Exactly, and that's the original sin.
Brings me back to the original sin.
I don't know if you know, is the blues institution of Montreal. Any blues person worth his or her salt, that's the Mecca. They have to end up there somewhere, somehow. That's one of the blues Meccas. And I've been blessed to be able to do my launch at Bistro à Jojo, and that'll be August 12th and 13th, just across the street from Théâtre Saint-Denis.
Carolyns Phase, thank you so much for today's interview.
Thank you very much.
A hot summer blues night here in Montreal. Deanna Adobe reporting for CUTV.